I've had the privilege to interview some of the most prominent thinkers in the areas of leadership, leadership development, human development, and psychology on this podcast. The wisdom that has been shared and the insights that have come out are amazing for any of us on the journey to be better leaders and better humans. What I decided to do is take some of the gems of wisdom and the answer to the question that I always ask, which is, what advice do you have for leaders? And so in this episode, I'll provide you with the best of the best advice that some of the most prominent thinkers on leadership, leadership development, and human development would offer you on how to be a better leader.
When you create things that offer a service to people, when you create relationships where people feel listened to, cared for, a part of something, they feel like they belong, you're doing something really human. And that's where we unleash our talent and our ingenuity. And that's the key.
I'm not interested in people becoming leaders in the old mode. I want people who actually want to serve at this time. And as a warrior for the human spirit, on behalf of people, what can I do to make my life meaningful, actually, and not withdraw? What are your deepest values here, that will sustain you when all these comforts are not so easily achieved and things are so unstable?
We have to reorient society on we are all only one, and rebuild our systems, structures, economic systems, energy systems, and so on from first principle. And that's going to take a really high order of leadership, and nobody knows how to do it. This higher order of leadership has to have facility with being informed in the unknown, like to step into the unknown together and lead from there.
My advice to a leader, what are you certain about? What are you certain about? And that begins to get to those core values. What is that identity you want to be known for? And I say the same to an organization. When we're in those midst of uncertainties, what are those core values or principles that will create value for you and others in that setting? For me, I'm committed to learning. If I fail, if I succeed, I'm going to learn. And I'm also committed to learning that I hope will help other people get better.
That's an anchor.
Yeah.
Right? It anchors and grounds us. And I think that's what we're looking for, is grounding and anchoring.
And that anchor is not an albatross. Somebody said, well, that limits the ability to change. No, that creates the ability to change.
You can end up feeling like, oh, I'm immune to change. Why bother? And that is so not the point of this process. The process is you need to see the ways in which you are currently immune to change in order to actually be able to make the change.
We do not see the world as it is. We see it as we are. This fundamental notion that the world that we're seeing is refracted through our own sense-making, and that we can change that sense-making, and in so doing, we can change the very conditions of our world. I think that that's an incredibly powerful thing to remember and to hold on to.
What we're learning about the nature of reality is that it is completely interconnected. There are no separate or even fragment parts. Everything is one wholeness. And so what you do affects the whole thing. So you can start wherever you are, and it matters. By pursuing your vision, you're contributing to the whole.
Pay attention to the little things is what I would say. If you see a bloom open, or if you look at the smile in a child, even somebody else's child, just playing effortlessly, just giving in to play, there's almost always something you can find that is precious. But you have to look.
What are you doing to take care of yourself? And how can you then use that resource to care for others?
We could just treat ourselves the way we would listen to others who were sharing something tender with us and wanting to be there with care and compassion. I hear you, I see you. And I think that's really what I hope for everyone when they do allow themselves to see their immune system.
I would say focus on love. Love affects everything. Love affects physical reality. And once you are able to do this, you can radiate love and set a field like you talked about earlier. It can literally change the world.